Hey everybody, Luke Mullin here with the Lincoln Journal-Star's 4 Downs, bringing you today's Nebraska football practice report. Huskers coming off a win over Michigan. Today, Monday, it's a rainy, drizzly, cold, kind of dreary day here in Lincoln, but that is not stopping the progress, the optimism from this year's Husker football team. And head coach Matt Rhule, as he reviewed the film from that Michigan State game, of course, a lot to improve on. You'll never find a head coach who won't say that, even after a win. But to Matt Rhule, what stood out was Nebraska's play in the trenches. In particular, on defense, Michigan State, a very strong rushing team. We'd mentioned running back Mekhi Frazier in the lead up to that game, Aiden Childs, his rushing ability, scrambling outside of the pocket. Well, Frazier never really got going, a lot of short carries. Childs did have a few of those scrambles, but Nebraska, for the most part, sealing the edge and helping contain him. To Matt Rhule, that was perfect, that the Huskers really did exactly what they were told. Shut down the run, turn it into a trot-back style passing game. That's what Matt Rhule said was the goal. Nebraska did that, and that let the pass rush go to work. We saw Williams Nwaneri have his best game of the season and probably the best game overall for the Husker pass rush. A lot to take from that heading into Maryland. Versus on the offensive side of the ball, the offensive line also with two new offensive tackles in different spots, that is. Elijah Pritchett there in at left tackle, Gunnar Gattulo sliding over to right tackle from the left. Huskers held up pretty well in pass protection. Of course, those who watched the game will notice Michigan State got in the backfield on occasion, but Dylan Raiola holding onto the ball, running backs, tight ends. Matt Rhule said not everything there on the offensive line in terms of the pass pro. And by the way, a pretty good Maryland rush coming up to face this Nebraska team. That Husker offense as a whole, really inconsistent throughout that game. They had the early touchdown drive, brought it on late, but second and third quarter, really nothing going. Matt Rhule talking about how difficult it was for that unit to find rhythm after how long it's spent on the sidelines. We timed it up in the press box. It's about 40 minutes that Nebraska went between offensive snaps during that special teams touchdown long Michigan State drive, and that was really too much for that unit to deal with in that first half. And what you saw in the second with how much more consistent Nebraska was, those big plays that they had in the fourth quarter, that was the Nebraska offense that Matt Rhule wants to see moving forward. And as the Huskers get ready for Maryland, of course, the scout is still early. Teams breaking down the game film here this week and behind the scenes. But Maryland, everybody knows they have a fantastic defense. That is the highlight of this year's team. They cannot really run the ball on offense. They're more of a passing team. They have an excellent freshman quarterback, good pass targets for him there at wide receiver. So it's going to be an interesting game for Nebraska. Some elements similar to this Michigan State team, some not. As I said, this Maryland defense, totally legit. They will challenge this Nebraska offense in a way that Michigan State did not for much of that contest. And as well as the Huskers go on the road this week, first true road game of the season, and it's kind of late in October here. Most teams have been on the road by now, but the neutral site game in Kansas City, more of a home game atmosphere, of course, and then all of the 4 straight home games here in Lincoln. Well, that means new experiences for the Husker team, boarding a flight, going out to the East Coast. They're going to spend time together. They always watch a team movie there, go through their normal Friday walkthrough. And what's going to be different is Huskers usually travel out on a Friday. They get a nice chartered team flight, but they're going to go out on Thursday night. They're going to practice here on Thursday, try to acclimate themselves to the East Coast. They don't want to deal with that travel on Friday. They want to have that day out there. They'll go through a walkthrough there at a local high school and get ready for that Maryland game on Saturday. Again, Huskers on the road this week. They travel to Maryland. That's a 2:30 p.m. kickoff here in Lincoln. Huskers at Maryland this week.